Welcome to another episode of After Effects. We today are starting this conversation off with the title that I think fits this. Putting yourself in a position to be crucified. I like that. We gonna kick it off with my big brother, grown man. After you, sir.
Greetings, salutations to all. Well, all I can say is, you have to be mindful in the company you keep. And you also have to be aware of your surroundings and the people that you're around. Because not everybody are your friends. Not everybody is happy for you. Not everybody wants to see you shine. There are a lot of people that are envious of you. And that entails, that goes into, putting yourself in uncompromising situations. Now the one...
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna pick up what you were saying.
I was saying, like, with the most recent situation that caught national news regarding Shanquella Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
She put herself in a vulnerable situation that, ended her life. Just like what was her name? Kanike Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can go ahead and say your piece.
I'm definitely with you on that. You gotta be mindful of the company you keep. This is not stressed enough because in these episodes that we're going to be doing, we're going to talk about some things. Like I said before on previous, you can take my black card. I don't care. I'm all about speaking the truth, and I only have smart people around me. I'm allergic to stupidity. And if you don't look at all sides of a story, then you have a one-track mind. Miss Sutton?
One, I want to say condolences to the families. Because no matter what the circumstances or the situation is, I never want to bury a child. My heart's desire is for things to fall into the order that that it's supposed to go in. I never want to experience ever burying a kid. With that being said, I have to be honest and say I believe we've taken a hands-off approach as adults when it's come to our children.
I like that.
Allowing them to pick and choose their friends, even though we're supposed to be more mature than them. And we see things that they don't see. There is no way I would allow my child to pay for all these people to go across country. If you can't pay for yourself, you're not going.
Preach.
This was still a very young adult. So the income had to be coming from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell me that she had all this money to pay for all these people to go to Mexico. A modeling career, congratulations. In the same token, modeling is fickle. And as a young adult, this is the problem in a lot of the African American community. We raise our children with the mindset to be broke. Because we don't teach how to save money. We don't teach how to invest money. We don't teach that. What we teach is You get grown, you find a job, as long as you can pay your bills, that should be sufficient enough.
And or a sugar mama or sugar daddy.
Right. That should be sufficient enough. What happened to true education on teaching them how to have something for the long haul? Therefore, her modeling career was really just getting started. This was a young lady. And I just feel like it was somebody's responsibility to say, hey, I understand that you think these are your friends. I understand that your career is going well right now. But what happens in the future when those pretty looks start fading? What happens in the future when these contracts may not always be there? You need to have a nest egg.
Thus far, this is the reason why on previous episode we discussed this whole new rape victim thing. Because if you notice, a lot of actresses that's not really getting the support or roles like they used to back in the day, now they're saying, oh, well, back in 1995, I was victimized by this person, so they're still trying to get in the limelight because, hey, I'm not getting what was promised to me, so I got to do something to keep my name floating.
But that's the whole thing. The whole thing in a nutshell is money management should be taught at a young age. I will always respect
It is in the Caucasian community.
Oh, yeah.
Just not in blacks. We taught to get it, spend it before you die, and what's the other one? Oh, only look out for yourself.
Pretty much. But here was this young lady whose career was just taking off, and she thought that these people were her friends. Where was the extra set of eyes to say to her, even if you had to say it repetitively? Because at some point, when you hear something long enough, it's gonna set in. Was there a true warning? Here she is thinking she about to take a nice trip with a bunch of friends for somebody's birthday, and jealousy sets in. Jealousy that she had this career. Jealousy that she had this money. Jealousy that she was able to afford to take all these ungrateful individuals to Mexico. The next thing you know, she starts seeing stuff. And let me put this disclaimer out. This is my view, Mrs. Sutton's view of how this story played out. So don't come attacking. This is my view. Because I know what it's like to think a bunch of people are your friends, or for them to turn around and stab you in the back when you get a little leg up in life. People don't want the underdog to come up.
Nope. Say it again for the people in the back.
We don't know how her life was before she became a model. So, unfortunately, this is a life that ended way too soon. All over what? Jealousy? Envy? And all these people that was involved that threw their whole entire life away.
Mm-hmm.
Because of something that you very well could have obtained. A job, a career, something. You could have been out here making money too.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why would I go get a job if I could ride somebody else's coattail?
But that's the point. When do we teach not allowing people to ride off the sweat and tears of your back?
In the black community, go ahead, y'all.
I just want to say this because going back to what Miss Sutton was saying about looking out for signs and stuff, people always say, oh, well, I didn't expect this person to do this because we've been friends for this amount of years and this amount of years. From experience, it always starts with the low blow jokes.
Oh.
When people start making jealousy jokes and be like, oh, I'm just playing. I pay attention to those type of jokes. And
because there's every truth in a joke.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So when people joke about certain things, or let's say, for example, you go out with your friends and one friend out the group is very beautiful, and they getting all the attention from guys outside, you know, getting talked to and stuff, you feel some type of way about it. And here you come. Oh, well, she got 6 baby daddies. You still want to talk to her? That type of friend.
Right.
Wow.
Trying to put your friend down because you're not getting the same attention as that friend. And then you just brush it off because you're like, oh, she was just playing. No, those type of things you need to pay attention to when they playing as jokes. They're really serious about the jokes. So those type of things you can't just brush off and think like, okay, she was just joking, because it starts with a joke. It always starts with jokes.
Yeah, or oh, you think you better than me because your parents can afford this, Y, X, Y, and Z. As a person who was bullied pretty much their whole life, once I got older, I had to go back and look at these situations from these kids that was quote unquote bullying me. My mom and my sister combed my hair. They kept my hair done. They kept my clothes clean. I had the stuff, not because I was a materialistic individual, but because my mother single-handedly worked her butt off to provide for her children. And these were kids whose parents may have been working, but maybe were struggling in a different situation. Because my mom chose to go to college, get an associate's degree, and work for the state. That's not my fault. I reaped the benefits of her hard-earned work. The same thing I told Mr. Sutton, I want to be able to provide for my children. Not because I want to be able to spoil them, because they're going to know the value of $1. But because if I can alleviate some of the struggle, that's what I want to do.
You know, she just taught me something. And when I actually go back and look at it, because I completely forgot what Yanni and Grown Man just stated. Honestly, I never really had any friends. Not one, because it's funny you would say that, because it's the cheap shot inside the joke that you really got to pay attention to. Because, like this young lady who's gone way too soon, I didn't pay attention to the warning sign. Mm-hmm. I didn't pay attention to the slight diss inside the joke. Oh, you know, said, you my man. Look at that fat dude. What could he do? My brother. And we all laughing, but when you go back and think of the inside jokes, you said how you really felt.
Exactly.
You really didn't like me, and you posed a threat. Oh, you ain't that good of a musician, which lets me know you already think I'm better than you, so you gonna disrespect me.
Yep, I just literally went through that.
That's crazy, man.
I just went through that with a job. Because you smile in my face. Oh, how are you able to maintain, or how are you able to separate your personal life from your professional life? Or can you give me advice on this? Or, oh my gosh, you're such a hard worker. You're so good at what you do. But on the flip side, it's, oh, well, she doing a better job than me. Let's get rid of her. There's always that underhanded, underlining situation. Even the situation that occurred almost 2 years ago that Yanni just mentioned, all I heard was, ever since you've gotten married, this has changed. That has changed. This is different. That's different.
Man.
And when I was asked why did I sit and listen to that conversation, it was because I needed to hear something. I wasn't obligated to listen, but it was something I needed to hear. And I'm listening to individuals still trying to equate what they thought I was versus who I am. So with this girl, here you go equating to what you thought that she should have been versus who she became. And because you didn't like that,
we're going to take a quick pause real quick. 1 second. All right, as we are continuing
Yeah, it's like, as we were saying, it's like I had to hear it. Here was this young lady who they probably thought wasn't going to amount to anything. And now that she's become this successful model, and these people are probably still sleeping on their parents' couches, probably done dropped out of college, probably ain't trying to think about no goals in life because it's that, oh, well, I'm young and I want to have fun phase. And here is this one who's investing in her future, and you're trying to ride off her coattail.
But back to what Yanni and grown men said, and I just had a revelation. The sneak disses and the quote unquote jokes were really, I know what you are. And because you haven't figured out how good you are yet, I need to go in there and snatch it away from you, because if you come up too good, then I have to look at myself in the mirror and find out that I really ain't crap.
Mm-hmm. And this is what unfortunately our society has become, having to shield the next generation from unjustifiable harm because you want to think everyone is your friend and you want to be friends with everyone.
You can't,
because you don't want to be alone.
This is a prime example. They used that girl. Like, first of all, for me, I got a problem with a couple of things. Number one, you a man. I personally believe that he set this whole entire thing up. He convinced her because if he was her dude or her friend, whatever. The fact that I believe he set this up because, think about it. You know these three didn't like her. So the plan was really all the time, because the way it sounds to me is that y'all got together, said we're going to kill her in Mexico, and then we're going to come back and tell her mama she overdosed on alcohol. Number one, what kind of man going to stand there and film, quote unquote, your friend getting beat by three different people? Mm-hmm. And you don't try to do nothing. All you saying is you ain't gonna fight back.
Okay, well, if I can actually touch on that for a moment, think about all of these videos. I'm quite sure you all have seen your share of World Star videos.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, and especially when it's female, when it's cat fights, usually what's happening is one or two things that's going on. Either it's a guy that's filming and he's egging it on from behind the camera versus actually trying to tell them that, hey, you know what, this isn't what we're doing here. Y'all need to cut this foolishness out. Or is some idiot that's actually right there, you know, and he's hopping around like his feet are on fire, like he's a rabbit or some foolishness. And he's of no assistance to the situation either. So as far as I'm concerned, in my personal opinion, those aren't real men. Because real men don't let women fight.
Nope.
That's just my take on it.
Grown man, your view?
Yeah, it's basically what Jarrell said. And it's just this society's lost because they think violence is just a cool thing.
But even with that, it's a thing of you have to really be careful of who you surround yourself with. And unfortunately, this was a case that she thought these were people that she could trust. She thought these were her friends and everything, because I thought I had heard in one of the many videos that I had actually watched that at one point in time in the Airbnb, she was actually not able to locate them because they were off in another room plotting on how they were going to bring her life to an end. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm sorry, but if this is supposed to be a group effort, why are we playing some old sick, twisted version of hide and seek, so to speak? What is that about?
In that moment right there, she should grab her stuff and like, you know what, I'm done. I'm out. See you.
But that was the whole
But-
thing. They
No
didn't
questions
want her to
asked.
get out. They didn't want her to get out. Because if she would have got out, who would have funded their trip?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
They was broke. Who would have funded the trip?
If I'm not mistaken, they stole her credit card.
Yeah,
They did. They took everything and took her suitcase back to her mama. Now that's bossy.
And actually believed for like a split second that they were going to be able to walk away from this and they not come under fire, they not get caught.
That's why it was planned.
All right.
It was premeditated.
Superman Daddy and Grown Man, we definitely, yeah, that one's touchy, but let's since we on the topic of foreign countries, let's switch to the national renown, shall we? Miss Brittany Griner. I think I'm gonna kick this one off, if you please. My view on this, because once again we're talking about uncompromising positions. I truthfully believe she embarrassed herself, her company, and her whole entire community. Number one, you allowed yourself to be used as a pawn. Number one, you cannot tell me that you did not know, that them people did not know that you've been coming in and out of that country for years with an illegal drug. Number one, you black. We're going to start right there. Number two, you are a representation of the WNBA.
And the United States of America.
Number three, you represent the LGBTQ community. And number three, the most important, you represent yourself and your family. So what all these have to do with one entity? I'm glad you asked me, because here are my 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 cents on this tape. Number one, let's just talk about it. How do you feel knowing that you went to jail for marijuana, a couple of pieces of grass, and they traded you for an arms dealer? Let that sink in. For those that don't know what an arms dealer is, that's somebody that sells weapons, guns, pretty much anything they get their hand on, top secrets, whatever. For a few pieces of grass, for a joint that you can roll up in little bitty pieces of paper that you can get for 99 cents. I don't know if they still sell them for 99 cents, but they did when I was growing up.
And wasn't a vaping device included in that as well?
Possible.
Okay.
And they traded you for a dangerous guy. Number two, how do you feel knowing that you on a national basketball level playing in a professional sport, getting paid gulag money? You all on TV with the rest of the WNBA talking about y'all not making the same amount of money as the guys. But every time we turn around, we watch y'all games, and you are a very talented basketball player. You got skills, I give you that. But y'all ain't selling no tickets. And y'all do the most complaining. Y'all do a whole lot of complaining. You're not representing your company well. You're not representing them good at all. Because, number one, let's just go back to you being black. Do you really think that because you're black that you are not going to be followed, looked at 24/7?
Scrutinized.
Right, and scrutinized. You're a black woman, which means you're going to be looked at twice as harder than men.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, you're a black woman, and I got news for you, lady. You happen to be American.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, the fact that you are American, let me spell this out for you. American. A lot of countries hate Americans for whatever reason. They hate this country. And you really thought they just gonna let you come into their house, do whatever you want to do, and they don't know about it? Let me ask you something. And this, just between us. Can I come to anybody's house on this line right now, on this radio show, disrespect it, and you gonna allow me to come back without saying you need to take some time away? Can I come to anybody's house and disrespect it?
Yeah.
Like, if I showed up to anybody's house and I'm spray painting on your walls and I'm peeing in the corner in front of the whole entire party, I'm over there just doing all kind of crazy mess. You gonna let me come back to your house?
You won't
The only way I'm gonna let you.
because I probably would have shot you.
Well, no. Here's my take on it. Before you leave, you gonna clean up what you messed up, and then after that, you will not be able to return.
My point exactly.
Listen,
Like, come on now.
my whole thing is I was always taught.
No, I don't think she should have been released.
I get that. My personal stance is, and I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that was taught this, but I was taught when in Rome,
Do as the Romans
do. So if you know that countries have tight knit rules about certain things, it makes absolutely no type of sense that you thought that you was gonna go to another country, disrespect this country,
Yeah.
their rules, their regulations, and think that there was gonna be no consequences involved in this.
The key phrase in that, you going to another... Listen, did you not just see LaMelo Ball and... What was the other dude's name when Trump was still in office? It was either both of the Ball brothers or whatever. But they went over to China. They thought it was a freebie. They took some stuff and they charged them with theft and something else, and they had them locked up. I'm surprised they even playing in NBA, because if it wasn't for Trump, they wouldn't have got back home.
Listen, my whole thing is this. I'm not, as someone who has always dreamed of going to a different country.
I never have.
That's understandable. But for somebody who's always dreamed of visiting another country, what I understand is this. I'm researching before I'm going anywhere.
Right, because I don't want I'll be chopping people's heads off.
I need to know what I'm coming into and if it's worth me spending my money to go.
They don't mind putting a disclaimer.
As a sailor, we was always briefed on the rules and regulations of each country.
Right. Now, y'all don't mind putting a disclaimer out there about Jamaica. Why? Because this might be politically incorrect. Jamaica is, 80-90% Negro? But they tell you, don't go to certain parts of Jamaica or you will never find your way back. Now,
True.
Are you serious? Now, here's the thing again. Not only are you black, you're a black woman, and you're American, again, I am not politically correct, and I'm not going to ever try to be because I'm not political. You also represent the LGBTQ community. Now, unfortunately for you, I don't know if you done smoked so much marijuana that your brain cells can't figure it out, but allow me to help you out. There are several things that will never, ever be accepted in society as a whole.
Yeah, that's true.
Your community lifestyle,
The color of your skin.
your color of your skin, and your status. Let me repeat that again, because I don't want nobody emailing me saying I'm picking on certain people. There are 3 things that's never, ever, 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 ever going to be accepted in society. Being black, being a part of the LGBTQ community, and your financial status. Why do I say that? Number 1, it's hard being black enough. Because even right here in the good old US of A, wherever we go that's not predominantly black, we are followed, we are watched. If we move into a certain community, then we get racial slurs. LeBron James is a whole billionaire. He moved into Brentwood, LA a couple of years ago. What did he have spray painted on his house?
Yeah.
That word.
That word, which just goes to show you, if they do that to a black billionaire, I ain't got a quarter of what he got. I ain't got nothing coming.
Right.
Black people just accept it. We gonna have coons. For those that don't know what it is, that's black folks turning on black people. That's why we got black crimes going on. And you represent the LGBTQ community.
All right, Yanni, what's up?
I wouldn't necessarily say. I'm not saying it's not hard to be black, but we make that an issue on ourselves because we tend to believe
Exactly.
society when it comes to us being black.
Yep.
We tend to just go along with it's hard to us be it's hard for us to be black instead of trying to make a name for ourselves and get out there. We just be like, oh, I'm black, so I know I ain't gonna make it out here because I'm black. The white man got it. The white man got everything. So no, we have to make our race important. We don't do that enough.
Nope. Because why?
Because we tend to keep listening to society. The black man not gonna be this. The black man not better than the white man. And we cannot keep putting that in our heads because of what society says. So it's not hard being black. We just don't want.
Right.
We just want to keep that embedded in our heads because that's what's been told to us. Dang near all our life.
And you know what's crazy about what you just said? And I'm glad you said it. I love you. We embarrass ourselves.
Oh,
Yes,
most
we do.
definitely.
We really do.
On a freaking daily basis. And you, Miss Millionaire, are no different. Come on, really? Did you really think that a black person going into Russia and she's American will not be watched?
And here's the crazy.
And what is wrong with your head?
Didn't we just have an issue with Russia not too long ago with what is his name? Putin, yeah.
Putin.
So why
Vladimir Putin.
right? So why in the world didn't that man just go on TV talk about if we got involved in a war against that other country that the United States will face something they ain't never faced before? Hence why the NATO people was involved. So just to keep the peace and keep neutral territory. So why would you think after all of this that it was a good idea to go over there and disrespect them? It's just insane.
Again, as I told you, she put herself in a position. But we're gonna kick it to grown man and Superman. Superman's daddy, come on. One of y'all tell me, man, what's your thoughts?
Okay, well, I actually have to say this in response to Yanni's comment and everything like that. Unfortunately, what it comes down to is not all of us think or feel that way, if you will. Mm-hmm. It's always a select few.
A few knuckleheads.
Y'all know the saying. They say one apple spoils the bunch.
Yep.
You know, and it's like whenever I see something on the news and it's one of our people, I just sit there and be like, come on, man, you could have made a better decision than that.
Yep.
But you made that conscious decision to be on some foolishness, not me.
Right,
so why should I get painted with that guilty brush?
Right.
You know, and the thing is, more or less, it's like, you know, it's really hard to get out of a mindset, and especially when you've been hearing it for so many years, you know, more or less like you're inferior, you're incompetent, you're a monkey, just about every possible insult that could be thrown our way.
Yeah.
And for me, what's really insulting this situation with Brittany Griner is, so I don't know what your background is.
Nope.
I would have to do some research. But the fact that you are a member of the WNBA.
Come on.
Your bank account is stacked.
Yep.
You probably are in a decent relationship and everything like that. The world is your oyster. You probably want for nothing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And you woke up and what they say, you woke up and you chose violence. Well, no, in this case, you woke up and you chose stupidity.
Yeah.
If you thought
Preach.
for 1 minute, because if you thought for 1 minute that you were going to be able to get away with what possibly is accepted here in your own home country,
Woo.
on foreign soil, you ought to be glad that they actually did release you.
Hello.
Then again, let's take it back. Let's rewind back to the young man that went over to Singapore 6 years ago, and he decided to spray paint on the walls. You know, do a little bit of graffiti. You know, do a little bit of tagging, if you will. He got what they refer to as caned. They took a bamboo stick, I believe, peeled the leaves off of it, and publicly whooped his behind.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody. You know what? I don't know about y'all. I would have to Google it to find out what his name is, but I bet you he hasn't been in trouble from that day to this.
I wouldn't either, because
he got the lashing of his lifetime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The last time I checked, bamboo sticks don't break, and you can hit them 1,000 times and they still be intact.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, unfortunately, it's one of those situations where it's kind of like, okay, well, you know, she's making our people look bad or whatever.
Come on.
It's like, it's a couple of different entities here that you fall under.
Come on.
So it's like, it's not just all about your skin color.
Come on.
It's about how you identify.
Yep.
It's about what puts the money in your bank account.
Hello.
But most importantly, it's about you as an individual.
Yep.
So we'll see if the quote-unquote lesson sticks.
I'm willing to take a bet on that right now. Let's go ahead and play with some house money. I'm putting 1,000 that she ain't learned a lesson.
Okay. Now she'll lay low.
Yeah, for a minute until this blows over, so she thinks. But she gonna do something stupid again, because what does Superman say? Superman Daddy say all the time? A learned behavior is hard to break.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Grown Man and Superman Daddy. At the end of the day, it's just a sad situation with these two young women. Yes, two separate entities. But when you bridge them together, they have one thing in common. Two black women who allowed themselves to be placed in compromising situations. One got to come home.
One didn't.
One did.
And right. No, the other one went home to glory. That's what that was.
Mm-hmm. And let me just add this sort of an icing on the cake. I'm not saying that I hate this young lady or that I don't think that she deserved a fair trial. I am, however, saying this. When you put yourself in an uncompromised position, be expected not to be in control of the consequences. If you not getting no benefits from this, leave it alone.
And see, it goes back to accountability. This whole matter. Accountability.
Yes, sir.
Because you know right from wrong.
Right.
It doesn't shut off.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, man. It's like, this is the kind of stuff that makes me understand why instilling certain principles and instilling certain values into the next generation is so imperative. Because here is one that had a choice that cost her life.
Mm-hmm.
And another one that had a choice that if the United States wouldn't have been willing to give up something,
a dangerous person, no less.
She would have been stuck there. And I'm sorry. We have to apply more wisdom than what we do. That's just as a community. We have to apply more wisdom. It's sad when the first thing you hear from the younger generation is, well, why should I try? I'm not going to amount to anything anyway. Or you hear, all I'm going to do is flip burgers for the rest of my life. And you like, well, what is your goals? What is your aspirations? And you hear, what is that? When do we start teaching? And don't get me wrong. You know, you can teach until you blue in the face. Ultimately, the choices and the decisions is up to that individual. Mm-hmm. But this is what I've learned. When you talk, that stuff play in your head when you least expect it.
Yeah. What they call it, and you had it on one of your episodes you done, invisible seeds.
Yes. That is planted. And you hear it. Right before you get that good old intuition. Right before you get ready to make a dumb decision, you hear that nice little voice and say, don't do that. You know you was taught better than that.
I'm actually gonna piggyback off of something you told me a while ago. People don't understand that when you do things, you ain't the only one serving that sentence. Mm-hmm. Folks don't understand, when you go out here and commit crimes, stealing, killing, and setting stuff on fire, your family has to do that sentence with you. Because what they call it, guilty by association. I know for a fact that if I go out here and do something stupid and retarded, yes, I'm using the word retarded in this sentence, it only affect myself. I take my wife, my brother and sister, my nieces and nephews, my brother and sister, when on the days I decide to claim them, the other ones, my parents, if and when I decide to claim them.
Wow.
But it's a whole lot of people in the business of one person.
Exactly. I did not understand as a
Right.
kid why before my mother used to send me out the house to school, her famous line to tell me was, "Remember, you represent me when you walk out this door."
Thank you.
And people think that that's one of them. Oh well, you're trying to threaten me. No, the truth is
Yeah.
that's being taught that when you're not wherever you go, remember it's not just you.
It will never be you. And this is why I said she allowed herself to get played. Matter of fact, they played her so well, she basically, sexual content here, they bent her over and gave it to her the long way.
Wow.
Even though she don't like it, they did it.
I'm not touching that, Mr. Sutton.
And they went in deep and raw.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being honest because literally, okay, so you Black American and you represent the WNBA. How long did you think they was going to allow you to keep coming in and out of their country with an illegal drug in their country? Go ahead, I'll wait.
The whole thing is what people fail to realize is in today's society, just alone on 9/11, they done banned a lot of stuff.
And
You can't even so much as take shampoo in the airport no more.
You can't bring
Man, no,
anything
you-
flammable,
yeah.
perfume or nothing.
you basically got to be stripped to your underwear and in some cases booty bald naked to go through the TSA.
Yep.
Because
Wow.
anything like seriously, they actually sent out a thing. What was it, last year or the year before? If you have a certain kind of underwear for the ladies, a bra, and they got wire in it,
Yeah.
do not wear it. Because in the fact that you do, you got to strip down right there in order to go through that scanner.
They threw away my deodorant because it was too big.
Wow.
They said I had to have a travel size deodorant, and they threw it away.
Yeah, with the travel size is about what is that? About 2 inches or so?
1.5.
Yeah, about 2.5.
2.8, something like that.
Yeah.
Something
So
like that, yeah.
literally,
So anything bigger than that, you're not about to make it.
right.
bigger.
So
Right.
I tell anybody, as someone who's flown frequently,
Yeah.
as a child, I remember being 12 and 13.
You all right?
Yeah, excuse me, you guys.
That's okay.
Being 12 and 13, just flying on the plane, and I thank God I had my grandfather go with me every time, because them folks will get to whining you and patting you down, and I'm looking at my grandfather like, why is these folks touching me?
Now you looked at me, and I always get a lot of weird statements when I say this because people think I'm crazy. But I say this all the time: if they treat me funky in the country that I live in, why on God's green earth would I want to go to another one where they're gonna treat me worse? Mm-hmm. I'm cool right where I'm at in my good little old town with all the coldness and crazy stuff that happened here, because it's hard enough just to live in the state that I'm living in.
Yeah,
I'm not going. Listen, I get. Oh, go to this destination. This looks great. Okay, I get all that, but your country a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I can see it now. If I go over there to a shop and I buy something and I get the TSA and come to find out it's illegal, then I'm looking at 10 million years behind bars on the simple fact that they had a problem with what I bought.
I mean, I get it. Like I said, it's not that I don't understand. I'm just like this. Again, when you in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Well, I ain't trying to go to Rome. Forget Rome, the Romans, and Polmans, and all the rest of them omens.
Oh,
Wow.
special.
God bless you.
So, like I said, it's just a sad situation. But we always have to remember, man, you got to be conscious. And then, this is what people forget. Somebody's always watching you.
Hello.
Exactly.
You know, when you start hitting certain platforms,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know who's looking up to you.
Exactly.
And it take one false move for you to lose all kind of credibility. Like, I'm not even being funny.
Kanye.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not even being funny, but we could take 500 hours just going down the list of people who used to be so respected.
Kanye used to be one of
And
them.
one moment of monetary lacks of
He had too many
judgment,
moments. Come on now.
and all of a sudden you don't have nothing. Like, just to give off an example, it's been about it's been about 100 years since Chris Brown beat up Rihanna. This man just went on a public stage and got booed.
Whole boo.
He
And-
actually had a whole Michael Jackson tribute performance canceled.
Yeah, because of that situation. And I'm glad you brought that up because I'm getting ready to go here. As for those that know and those that don't, I recently graduated from Ohio Media School for broadcasting and radio,
Yay!
Yes, sir.
which means I am now a public figure. But I just don't represent me. Everybody that you have ever heard on this radio show that is connected to me, I represent. Which means it only take one time for me to do something really dumb. And I done blow. Matter of fact, I'm going to just tell y'all this. It's a little secret, but I'm going to tell you this anyway. So here we go. One day, we was in the classroom. We was doing a project. Stop laughing, Miss Son. Superman's daddy know where I'm about to go. So we were doing work. It was the last class of the day. So, as a lot of people know, some classes you can go in campus, and you can also watch from online. So we had to set up a portfolio for LinkedIn. So, you know, everybody just
they got LinkedIn, all right.
So everybody doing their thing. So the next thing we know, as everybody got their head in the computers or in their phone setting up this stuff, we hear something go. And I was like, okay. And I looked up, we don't see nothing. So we put our head down again. Then the next thing we know, we hear. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so everybody's head popped up and looked to the left, and on the screen is a whole live video of a student giving fellatio. It lasted about 10 seconds before they figured out how to cut the live stream.
Too little, too late.
So they argued for months with the dean talking about they was at work.
Yes, they sure were.
Oh, you ain't never lied. Working.
Is it worth it? Let me work it.
Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it.
And you stone in the man.
I'm like, oh my God. So they argued the dean up and down, talking about they was at work, talking about we was flipping burgers. That really?
Someone was getting flipped all right.
Y'all flipping burgers?
They should have just went with Shaggy's theory.
It wasn't me,
Exactly.
right?
But that just goes to show. Now they banned from the school. All that financial aid money is gone. And here's the thing. They still owe that whole amount.
Of course.
They owe all of it, and they will never be able to come back to the school. So your broadcasting career, your radio career, your television career is pretty much is over with at this point. I mean,
not necessarily.
you probably could get a couple of jobs in The porn industry.
Wow.
I mean, but you just messed up your career because you couldn't wait. I told the class right in front of the dean, and she said something was wrong with me. I said, listen, if you're ever online and you are in need, I said, put your phone in one part of the house and go in another part of the house where you won't be. Take care of your need, and then once you're done, you can adjourn the class. That's just a perfect sign. And then something else. As we winding down time here, we all gonna take these final moments to tell you something. Your life doesn't just affect you. You represent a lot of people.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we got parents grieving the loss of a child, and we have another one that has that this definitely gonna affect her career because the WNBA is known for playing outside the country.
She'll never be able to. Do you really think they're gonna allow her back? Because this time, if she go back and do something stupid, they're gonna jam her up so much that they're gonna ask for the release and or something of equal value. Because unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but because there are a few bad apples in our race, they never learn. They don't learn. Now, I guarantee you, it's going in the coming weeks or months, it's going to be this whole spiel about how the WNBA is unfairly justifiable being taken advantage of because of some misunderstanding. There wasn't no misunderstanding. You went over there with marijuana in your hand. Thought it was cool.
Right.
And then what I can't understand is this. If I have to make a decision between my career
Yes.
or my habit, I'm going to choose my career. So you mean to tell me, and everybody knows this, you can't fail no doggone drug test playing in any kind of sports?
Listen, you making more money in your job than that bag of weed cost you. It costs $10, $5, $3. I mean,
Whatever it costs.
You might be able to get you a pound, if your dude really to help you out for about 25 or so. But the prices that went up, they charging tax now. So I ain't saying I know the details. I'm just saying, that's just how stuff works.
It depends on the weed man.
Yeah, it all depends on the weed man.
But I mean, I don't understand it. But as I would say, from the after effects, we want to say RIP to that young lady who lost her life due to jealousy. Our condolences to her family.
Yep, over some cowards.
And I'm definitely praying, as I'm sure all of us are, that those people who were involved get thrown under the jail.
Well, y'all should let me have them. Feed them to some piranhas. Alive.
As far as Brittany Garter,
I do not respect you.
I'm truly praying that this was a lesson well learned.
I'm willing to put some money on it if you are.
I'm sorry, I think being locked in a foreign jail will change anybody.
Okay, again.
Hello.
But, Superman, Daddy, grown man, any final words?
Just peace and blessings and prayers out for everybody that needs it in these times. in this world that we living in.
All right, grown man. I think we lost him. Well, for the Gotham City crew, we out.